So in the spring of 77, the colonists get another big victory. They whack the British troops led by Burgoyne that were coming out of Canada at the Battle of Saratoga. Huge victory because this is actually what convinces the French to join the war. So Saratoga, big victory for the colonists, convinces the French to join it. If you want to know more about Saratoga, there you go. Now after the British conquer Philly, they moved on forts outside of Philly. This allowed Washington to move his troops to a winter home at Valley Forge. At Valley Forge, Washington, who had never been able to train his troops properly, actually gets time to do it. Valley Forge really brings the army together. And if you want to know more about Valley Forge, there you go. Now in February of 1778, Ben Franklin begins negotiating with the treaty with the French to bring them into the war. And when he gets them into the war, it makes both sides more equal. So Ben Franklin in February 1778 negotiates the treaty with the French to bring people into the war, to bring them into the war and get both sides more equal. By 1779, the Spanish are in the war too. So by 1779, the Spanish are in the war too, but they're only allies to the French. They said, no thanks to the colonists. So with French entrance into the war, the British decide, well, we're not going to go and stay in the north. We're going to go south. And they turn their focus to the south, where they easily take the cities of Savannah and Charleston. The British were depending on loyalists coming to their aid in the south. They wanted the people who still supported the British to come to their aid. It never happens in the south. So the British Army, they start moving north, and they move into Virginia. Lord Cornwallis, who was the general of that group in the South, moves towards the Chesapeake. The whole idea is that if he can get to the Chesapeake, he can get on ships and he can get out of there. So he actually moves into a trap. He becomes trapped at the town of Yorktown. The French actually show up and cut off the British escape right at the right time. This forces Cornwallis to surrender. So Cornwallis is trapped by Washington coming down from the north, and the French making sure they can't escape at Yorktown. And there's a video that tells you more about Yorktown. It's actually a video from the Patriot. Pretty good. And the siege of Yorktown. Now the Patriots win the war because of four things. First, the British made tactical mistakes. They underestimated the colonists. The colonists kept fighting and Washington kept them going. Second, the British misunderstood the nature of the conflict. They misunderstood that these colonists are fighting for their livelihood and their freedom. Third, the Patriots are highly motivated and they've got good leadership. They have people like Washington. And fourth, of course, they get help from the French. So the Patriots win the war because of four things. The British made tactical mistakes. The British misunderstood the nature of the conflict. The Patriots are highly motivated with good leadership. And the Patriots get help from the French. Now, the loss at Yorktown is what gets the Brits out of the war. People were tired of the high taxes by 1782, and when they lose at Yorktown, that's like, whoa. So the new British leadership starts looking to make peace. In 1783, Ben Franklin negotiates the Treaty of Paris with the British. That ends the war, and it grants the colonists the territory east of the Appalachian Mountains. Here's more on the Treaty of Paris. And this is actually opening up to a whole series of videos about the American Revolution that you can use.